Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I've got 3 replays to show you in the Tier 8 British medium tank, the Atomic Centurion. And this is obviously another video just going over the tanks which I had reforged not too long ago. The Atomic is being one of them, which I was surprised actually they did change this Atomic, because I always thought it was one of the better Centurions, to be honest with you, but they have buffed it. And what they've done is they've increased the shot dispersion during the turret rotation, they've increased the view range from 390 to 400, and then they've increased the DPM from 7 seconds to 6.5 seconds. So yeah, it's actually had a pretty decent buff. But what I've got 3 replays to show you the tank, and let's just get on with the replays and we can see how we get on. Okay, so here we are for the first replay then on Sand River. There is one Fun Police in the game and one enemy light tank, and this time it is a Tier 9 lobby. So from the start we're going to push to the pretty standard position I like to use from this side, and this is this ridge. I don't use this ridge from the other side of the map because it's not as good because of the way the spawns are now, and we have able to catch out a tier 9 heavy tank crossing, which is really good because, you know, this fantastic DPM of this tank, you're able to put in quite a lot of shots in short space of time. You've got the 230 alpha, 258 pen on the premium rounds, and yeah, like I say, in a short space of time you can actually pick up quite a lot of damage basically. Now if you look on the mini-map, our whole team has gone this side, which is awkward because I can't really play the other side because I can't play there by myself. So I'm going to have to be patient and hope that our team push up so that we can win one side as quickly as possible, because what I really want to do, I know there's going to be camping tank destroyers etc at the back. I want to try and win this side so that we can get rid of those, and then if the enemy do push around and go onto our base and get shots behind us here, we're no longer be safe. So we want to be able to push over the other side of the ridge to be safe from those shots, but we need to win one side quickly, because if we don't, then we're going to find ourselves in a bit of awkward situation. So I'm trying to do my best to get shots on the tanks which are spotted, and this Belleform goes up and we do get one in and it gets taken out, putting us on to just shy of 600 damage there, or 700 damage, and just looking, it is awkward just because of our position of this tank. I mean, another thing I should say about the Atomic is actually it has more silver earning than most Tier 8 premiums. I think that's like a plus 65%. So if you ever get those situations with the silver ops on, this is quite a good tank to make silver in. Now, an enemy medium tank pushes up and we have him trapped basically in this situation. We're poking down to only expose our turret and just trying to get as much shots in as we can. We should be able to get the kill on this tank. And then an enemy Tier 9 check heavy gets spotted. So we try and get shots into the track build, see if we can track them in place. And I think we should be able to get a couple more shots in. We've got 2 shots in, put us into just shy of 2,000 damage. Squeeze another shot in, and we're just trying to get as much in as we can before we get safe. Once he gets behind those rocks, it's going to be hold down to us and be harder for us to destroy. But I am getting concerned that the enemy team are going to start coming behind us shortly. But thankfully our team are pushing up, and that will spot tanks like this which are out in the open and allow us to get shots into them. And hopefully we can just get as many shots into these tanks as they cross. So the hit has actually popped up again, so we're able to get shots in. But as you can see in the mini map on the right hand side, the enemy team are starting to make the way round to the base. We do have a tank destroyer in a base, which hopefully should give us some information when they get close, and allow us to give us time to get out of the enemy fire. Putting us on to 3,000 damage here and 87 assistance. It hasn't been a fantastic game, as in I've had a decent game, but it's one of those sort of more boring ones where I've had to play a little bit, safe to try and, I couldn't push over too early on this ridge because I would have got shot by all the tanks, sitting in their cap. and I couldn't really push the other side just because I had no support either. I didn't want to follow my whole team up the right hand side, because then we wouldn't have had this crossfire angle, because obviously because our enemy team pushed up and we was in this position, we was able to get the crossfire shots in and pick up a substantial amount of damage. But now, as you see, the enemy team have started to push around. So now, because we've cleared the right hand side, I do eat one shot, but I'm able to push over on this ridge and then be safe. There's an enemy Minotaur here, but between me and this heavy, we're going to be able to make quick work of this tank. I'm just going to put in as many shots as I can. He has turned to focus me, but then he gets taken out, dealing with that threat. Now we have an enemy team in the base. I'm trying to push round to get shots, to clear their base out. I'm hoping our teammates are going to get a reset on that one base tank in the cap. I still have time. I still got a sort of a minute and a half. So as long as I don't put two tanks in the cap, I'll be okay. We spot this AMNT here on the top right hand side, trying to get a bit of assistance there. And now we're going to try and push around and see if we can get closer to that tank and kill these mid-shot tanks in the middle. We have now put cap pressure on, and we are winning in 46 seconds. So unless the enemy team can get like 3 tanks in the cap now, they're probably not going to win on the cap points. And it looks like we've got the reset, and now it's just see like how much damage we can get before our friendly team cap out of there. We'll just try 4,000 damage. There is tanks caught out. We should be able to get a few shots in. We've only really got 30 seconds until our team cap out, and then we won't be able to get much more out of this. So we're just going to use this opportunity to farm as quickly as we can. Putting us on to just shy of 5,000 damage, 1,000 assistance. We still haven't actually got a kill. This enemy autoloader comes out. We've got to pull down and get a hold down. It is a one shot to us. We shot 2. The turret armor is quite good, but we can squeeze one into the cupola. We could be able to pick up the kill. Unfortunately, we missed that with only 5 seconds left, and we do just squeeze that shot in, but unfortunately our team do cap out, which brings us then to replay number 1. So let's see how we got on there. We managed to get 5,000 damage, 1 kill, 1,000 assistance. Unfortunately, we only pick up the first class because a lot of the shots we were shooting were other people's spots, and we obviously only got the 1 kill. But that is it for the first replay. We've got 2 more to come, so let's move on. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. This time we're on Muro, and there is no fun place in the game, but there is 2 enemy light tanks, and we are platooned up with our buddy Jamis. Now, initially I've decided to go to the field, and it looked like I had a few tanks coming with me. So I thought, I've got enough support. We're going to go over there and we're going to see what we can do. Jamis is obviously in the heavy tank and he's playing the other side. But yeah, we can see what we can get on with. But unfortunately, as we get over there, our heavy tanks obviously decided against coming to field, and that has somewhat left me in a situation where I'm kind of by myself, and I'm not liking this. I think I'm going to be outgunned. I think there's going to be too many tanks, so we're going to make the early decision to get out now, while hopefully we can, before we get surrounded, and just give up on this side, and just go and fight over the other side. And yeah, unfortunately we get tracked there, and we're kind of panicking, thinking, are we going to have enough time to get out? But I think if I left it any later, then I probably wouldn't, and I'd have to just stay and fight. So I'm just trying to escape. As you see, there's about sort of 4 or 5 tanks there, so it would have been outmatched. I'm trying to put the buildings in front of us to try and stop the shots coming in. And Jamis is now pushed into sort of the bowl in the middle, and I've decided that I'm going to go straight in, rather than waste time going all the way around, and just trying in. We can always deal with the other side when we, later stage of the game. If we win this side, we can then defend the base anyway. It's quite easy to defend the base on this map. So we're pushing in. The Trinity is coming around. It's not really focusing us at all. So we're going to actually stop and actually just get some shots into him as he goes round. We get 1 shot in there. We should be able to finish another shot, but unfortunately just gets taken out by our buddy Jamis actually. And it's still a fairly even game at the moment, but we're going to poke this ridge. It looks like the majority of the enemy tanks are actually in the field location, so we're just going to see what we can spot out there. We managed to get a shot into that super Hellcat, finishing them off, and then there's this enemy Oni, which is still on full health, so that is quite a lot of damage we can potentially pick up here. We're going to move around and try and say hold down. We try and finish off the light tank. Unfortunately we don't. trying to get a shot in, and we see it. He's ammo racked, so we aim for the ammo rack, and thankfully we get blessed, and the ammo rack goes through, and we pick up 1800 damage. His full health there in one shot. So that has boosted our game massively, and now we've gone from not doing any damage to we're already up to almost 3000 damage, because we set that other tank on fire as well, and the enemy team are now sort of trapped in the sort of field area, and we've actually managed to escape the other zone, and on full health as well. So we're just going to push in now. Now we've got all those hit points, we're just going to go, and we can afford to eat a few shots in order to just get as much damage out as we can, because the DPM on this tank is really good. You can see how quickly you end up reloading, especially when you get your food activated. I'm down to like 4.7 seconds there, and already on 3,600 free kills, and there's still a fair amount of hit points left on the enemy team. So we want to get in there as fast as we possibly can. Like I say, I've got the luxury of having hit points here. I can't keep those hit points till next game, so I might as well just full send in. If I get shot, it really doesn't matter. We've got enough guns here. We should be able to just pick up as much as we can. We've got this enemy KV. We're going to try and get a shot through the little tumor on the weak points, putting them onto a one shot. We're just going to keep driving so we don't waste time. We kill that tank, putting us onto 4 kills, and now we just want to rush to the rest of the damage to see how much we can get out of this game. Enemy Action X in the back, so we try and get a shot through his side of his turret when it's side on. Unfortunately it doesn't pen, but we should be able to pen this Liberté pretty easily, and we get one in, trap him in place and pick up the kill. Well, leaves us into only 3 tanks remaining here, so we hope we can get finished now. Unfortunately we don't pick it up. I've actually decided just to leave the light because he's a one shot, and I was just thinking my team are going to kill him, and I didn't need to, because it turns out I've actually missed their shots, so I could have just actually got the shot in and picked up the top gun there. So it's a shame I didn't just focus that light tank. I was trying to get up to this Action X to try and get some shots in. Now at this point I think I made a little bit of a mistake here, because he's hold down, so it's awkward for me to pen, but I was just trying to get stop and get shots into the propeller. I think all this time I've wasted. I could have just drove straight over there and just got shot for his lower plate, but I was kind of thinking he was going to make a mistake and he was just going to overpeak and get taken out. So I was just trying to get the shots in before our enemy team got there and just pick up a little bit of extra damage. But as it stood, I've kind of just wasted time, because he's pulled right down now, and I'm not going to manage to pick up that kill. But that brings us an endo to the second replay, so let's see how we got on before we move on to the final replay. We managed to pick up 5 kills, 5,300 damage, 200 assists. We get the ace tanker this time and the brothers, and yeah, that's it for replay number 2, but one final replay to come. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then on Great Wall. This time it is a tier 8 game. We don't have any fun police, but we do have 2 enemy light tanks. Now we're going to push down, I think, on this map, go right to the corner where we can go use our gun depression on the ridge and see what we can do. I mean, there's no fun police, like I say, so we can use the ridge without getting shot at, so we just have to worry about what has shots at us. And initially I'm going to go down there and just see if we can get any shots in. Sometimes I like to go up to the ridge in the middle, but this time I've decided against it. I've decided to go all the way to the end and see what we can do. We've got a bit of support with this Panther coming with us. It's a bit of a problem if we lose the sort of middle part and then they end up coming behind us. That can sometimes be a problem. We do have a few tanks heading that way, and as you can see, already sort of about 4 or 5 of their tanks have been spotted over here, so we know we're going to have a little bit of a battle ahead of us. This J Panther gets spotted on the sort of climb on the top, so we're hoping we can squeeze a shot in here. We do get one in, damage their track, but we don't actually track them in place, and unfortunately we're not able to squeeze in a second shot before we gets away there, but at least we forced him off of that position, so he no longer can shoot us while we poke round here. And we're just slowly edging our way around. So 2 of our tanks have come down into the middle now, so I was sort of thinking the enemy team are probably going to divert their focus that way, and maybe we can slowly creep up and get a few shots in. If they're not looking at us, we might have an opportunity to get a first kill here on this Tiger P, and we do. picking up our first kill. The J-Panther's actually gone back and we're able to get another shot in, putting them onto a potential one-shot to us now. So I'm kind of hoping he's not going to use that ridge again, but he probably is going to sort of fall back slightly. We pull up to try and get some shots in, you know, behind these enemy teams here, but we've got an enemy defender coming for us, so this is a little bit awkward. We need to kind of punish this tank while they're in the open while they can. We try to track them in place. Unfortunately, we aren't able to track them there. We do squeeze 2 shots in, but now they got safe behind that big rock, so we no longer have shots, you know, at that tank at the moment. But we're gonna try to slowly, you know, watch that defender to make sure he's not looking at us and try and squeeze in damage in the other 2 tanks over the other side. Again, I've got to be careful with that J-Panther. I don't exactly know where that is now, and he could potentially have shots on us depending on whereabouts they're sitting. So that's something I've got to be, you know, careful of. His enemy VK's moving in. We tried to just snap a shot in there, but that was never going to pen. But he has taken punish getting into that position. So hopefully we should be able to, you know, take out this tank in a couple of shots. But I've got to be careful because there is the enemy TD which does potentially have shots that's here. We get one in, putting him onto a 2-shot, putting us onto just about 1500 damage. Get another shot in through the turret as he's turned, and he gets taken out by our friendly Tiger, and so does that defender, which leaves us an opportunity to carry on pushing forward and see if we can get any more shots in. At this moment in the game we are winning, but you never know. We're up on tanks. We got a shot into Tiger. Unfortunately that J-Panther is shooting us, but he does get detected for it, so I'm hoping that's going to push him down. We're going to try and get a shot in, but he looks now like he is sort of running back. And at this point the J-Panther actually gets taken out, but I didn't actually realise this at the moment, and I thought the J-Panther was still alive. We get a kill into the charioteer, and now it's just this Tiger here, which we should, you know, be able to deal with quite nicely. So we're just moving around to just get a shot in. We get one in here, putting him on. Now I'm actually pushing to kill this J-Panther here because I actually missed that it was dead, and you know, all I need to do is look up on the top of the corner and realise that there's no TD there, but there was a tank there because there was, I just saw the shot tracer come down, so I was going to push and try and take this out. It looked like our friendly tank destroyer is going back to defend the base, and at this point I'm thinking, you know what, I might actually need to go back and defend this cap, but at this point it's probably just as quick for me to actually just carry and push in this way than actually turn around. So I'm just going to try and push around, push through, and see if we can get back to that base, just in case all the tanks do end up going back for that their base reset. At the moment it doesn't, you know, they're not actually going for the cap reset just this time, but as we push around there is actually an enemy T-32 which kind of puts a bit of a spanner in my plan. We do get 2 shots, well we don't actually, we get 1 shot in, but I can't just, yeah, that T-32 is a very dangerous tank, and there's tanks covering him from the hill, so I'm conscious that I can't really just push around on this tank. But we have a friendly tank who's about to get in the cap circle, and I'm thinking if he gets in the cap circle then it's kind of put the pressure on the enemy to have to try and push us, because our friendly tanks have gone back now to the cap circle, so our base is defended and we are capping them at this point. So I don't need to really force it against this T-32 because he's going to have to push for us basically, but he does shoot, so we make sure we get one in, and he then gets taken out by our friendly T-77, and there's just this Eagle 7, the tier 7, so I'm just going to try and put as many shots in as I can while he's in the open. Even if we eat a few shots, I just want to get rid of his hit points. But then an enemy autoloader here that comes around, that American autoloader, so that again kind of stops me pushing that Eagle anymore with that tank being there, because it's going to, you know, that's going to cause us all sorts of grief. But we have a friendly heavy tank pushing up, you see on the map, and hopefully he should be able to deal with that autoloader, which will then give us the freedom to push and kill that Eagle. But as that happens, a enemy light tank comes into the base for the reset. It looks like it's going to get the reset. It does get the reset, but the other enemy autoloader I'm thinking probably clipped out. So I'm just going to push in now and actually just try and kill this Eagle 7. Unfortunately, I know there is a light tank behind me, so I don't want to have to deal with 2 tanks. So I'm just going to try and kill this Eagle 7. Hope to see if our heavy tank can survive against a light tank, and while we take out this Eagle 7. Unfortunately for us, the light tank does manage to kill our T-77, but we do know now that that chat, you know, is probably clipped his clip, and we're going to try and push him. This game's gone back to a 2v2 though, so it's a fairly close game. I don't know where the other enemy heavy tank actually is at this point, because I haven't spotted them all game. So I'm thinking that there's a chance, as I say, that they could be going for the, the cap, and I think I'm going to have to just try and head down there, because if he gets on before us, then if the light gets on, we're probably, it's risky then sitting there in the cap, because if a light tank comes and gets a reset, then and the bear cap him, we're going to lose. So at this point I don't know, so I'm just going to go down and sort of just go back to that area and see if we can catch this light tank off guard, or see if we can find out where this heavy tank is, because we've now got the pressure on the cap. So the enemy team is either going to have to get on the cap and double cap us, or come for us. And as that happens, we actually spot the enemy heavy autoloader. Very dangerous tank, but it is on a one shot to us. We've got this wreck which we're trying to use as a bit of cover, and we managed to thankfully get a shot through the cupola, taking out that tank, leaving us into a 1v1 with the light tank. The light tank has come for us. We still have 700 hit points, so I'm hoping we can win this engagement. We get one in, putting them onto a 2-shot, swinging our turret round so we can get the second shot in. Again, putting them on now, 2 at 1 shot. We should be able to get this kill, and we do bring this an end to the replay and the video. So before we move on, we will just see how we got on. We got 5 kills, just shy of 5,000 damage. We will pick up the ace tanker, and we get the 1,000 assistance and the 1,000 blocked and the high caliber. But again, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and happy tanking.
Hadouken!